Bizarre. Like, what was that military fact you said? Morocco.
The US military is a bigger polluter than Morocco as an entire nation.
Yeah, that's insane.
And there's like 40 million people in Morocco, I think. It's not a small place.
Yeah, they say that Bitcoin causes uses the same amount of energy as New Zealand.
Really? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 40 million people in Morocco. That's crazy.
40.
Tell Haroon that he'll be impressed. But he won't like the military.
Yeah, I mean, he's from Algeria, but...
I mean, well, the Algeria borders Morocco heavily. Like Morocco's the only country Morocco borders is Algeria. So they're buds.
Because there's quite a big people smuggling route that goes through from like Chad and Niger, and it goes up through the Sahara in the bottom of Algeria, and then they go from Algeria into Morocco, and then Morocco has the small gap between, like the small bit of sea between that and southern Spain, right?
Yeah, literally, yeah. The coolest I think I've ever sounded was when we did a family quiz night, and one of the questions was, what is a shorter gap between Dover and Calais, the English Channel, or what the fuck do they even call it?
Is it the Malta? No, that's something else.
No, it's between. So it's Algeciras is the port town in southern Spain, and then Tangier is the port town in Morocco. It's just that tiny little bit between North Africa and thingy. And I was able to be like, well, I've stood and I've looked at both, and I definitely can tell that France is further away. Everyone guessed the other way, and I was right. And I was like,
Strait of Gibraltar.
Strait of Gibraltar. God, thank you.
There we go. Channel connecting the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, lying between southernmost Spain and northwest Africa.
Yeah, it's not far. You feel like you could almost shout to Africa when you're standing there. It's not far at all.
It's the narrowest point's 8 miles.
Yeah, nothing.
That's unbelievable.
I know. It's just splitting 2 continents. It's pretty crazy. The boat's still really expensive. But, yeah, decent.
Because you know how apparently if you travel to Algeria and you're a tourist, like I don't know if it's by law, but the government, they literally won't let you go to the south of the country, not because it's dangerous in terms of conflict or anything. It's a very safe country, but in terms of it's a vast proportion of the Sahara Desert in South Algeria, and it is charted. It's not entirely uncharted, so it is mapped, but nobody lives there other than nomads, and it's just so easy to get lost, so easy to die out there. It's a really, really just wild area of land, and it's just enormous.
Oh God, have you seen the? I think it was in Ed Stafford. Have you seen? Ed Stafford.
Pardon?
Yeah, Ed Stafford.
No, who's that?
Oh my goodness, you need to get into watching his stuff. I swear you'd enjoy it. He does. He's basically an explorer kind of thing, really.
Can we try WhatsApp?
Yeah, go on then. Basically, he Ed Stafford's his shows are so good. And so basically, he does one of his I've watched every single show he's ever made. I've watched. So his first one's really, really good. He just walks across the width of South America, which is insane. Like, there's a bunch of cool stuff like that. And then he does I think it's called Marooned. And that's when he Naked and Marooned. He first one's him on a desert island. It's 3 episodes just for that one desert island. He stays there for 60 days on his own. That one's pretty sick. He does and then there's one. No way, I think he's still making it in 2019. There's another one he does called Into the Unknown, and this one's really good. It's where he basically looks at loads of satellite images, which is and he probably has people that help him, and he just finds weird, unexplained things, and then just goes on an expedition to get there. And one of them was in the middle of the Sahara, and just the whole journey, the way he gets there is just crazy. And then there's one night where he's sleeping in the Sahara, and he wakes up and there's just a random nomad just sitting next to him,
Oh
and he
wow,
just wakes up. Yeah, mate, it's fucking crazy.
that's
And
powerful.
like, it's just odd, mate. He's literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, he's walked for ages. He's in the middle of Sahara, and then a guy just walks, just walks over the next hill. It's just the weirdest thing I think I'd like. I was just like, how?
Just
What the hell is like?
just
How is that person?
so
What is that person's
it was
life that
just
they're
what
just wandering around empty Sahara?
it was just one guy on his own that approached him.
Yeah, one guy on his own. I need to. I want to watch the episode again.
Yeah,
It is crazy. Like, it's good though. Like, he just goes on satellite images and finds weird, unexpected things. And then he just goes and like, goes there on foot to actually see what it is.
it says
And
here
like,
he has the Guinness World Record for being the first human ever to walk the length of the Amazon.
yeah, that's the first thing he did. He's so fucking single-minded. Like, the guy that he went with literally gave up after like a month, and it took Ed Stafford like 2 years, and he just he just kept going. Like, at one point, he meets like a Brazilian guy that like it goes with him like pretty much the whole way. It's crazy.
Do you know who I really like? Rory Stewart. He sounds a bit like him. Do you know Rory Stewart?
No, I
He's
do not.
he's former Secretary of State for International Development. So he's an MP, but he used to be a British soldier, and
Oh man,
he was a senior at Yale's University Institute for Global Affairs, where he taught politics and international relations. But he's got a similar story in that he did this kind of long walk thing, but he walked across Afghanistan.
wow.
But he walked across Afghanistan in 2002. So, I mean, unfortunately, Afghanistan has been in a place of tension for years. But yeah, he walked across it at a genuinely dodgy time, and then he wrote a book about it called "The Places in Between."
Afghanistan.
The
Is
Places
this?
in Between, I believe. Yeah, The
Oh,
Places in
okay.
Between is a travel narrative by Rory Stewart, a former Member of Parliament and writer, detailing his solo walk across northern central Afghanistan in 2002. And my father's read the book, and he was saying that how, because Afghanistan's such a deeply tribal area, you have to get permission by different tribes to cross through the land from different places. But he said it was
Yeah,
quite
yeah, I
tense
bet.
sometimes, because these tribes will literally be at war with each other, and he would have to cross from one area to another, knowing that they know that he just came from their enemy's area, in fact. But he just incredibly brave, doing something like that on your own, walking, trusting these people, and yeah, it's similar things really. But I think so often with these travel people, they always just talk about how trusting and kind and good natured these people are in these other countries they meet.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, everyone, yeah, I think that's what always, whenever I travel abroad, I always think, God, like, foreign people are generally just a lot more welcoming than English people.
Yep, they are. They are. They're more like the UK in our society. I don't know when it happened, but we lost our sense of trust and our ability to trust
Especially in the
strangers.
south, especially in the south of England. Yeah,
Yeah, in the
yeah,
south, no,
true.
you're right. Like, imagine two strangers trusting each other in London. That's never going to happen, is it?
No, no, it's not exactly. Whereas, like, when we were in Pompeii, which is like a really poor town in Italy,
Italy, yeah.
like people were like, "Oh yeah, you can come and stay with us if you don't find your hotel." Imagine someone saying that to you in London. You'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, they'd be like, is this guy going to murder me? Is he going to try and
Yeah,
murder me?
exactly. You'd be like, "Well, I'm
Huh?
going to be murdered, so probably not going
Huh?
to go with."
Yeah, like it's sad actually. It is sad why the UK is so untrustworthy like that. But my theory's
But I
always
don't know, like, it's like some people. I mean, yeah, I mean, there are instances. God, it was so weird. So I saw Rebecca last night, and we were talking about like, we were talking about prostitution and how much prostitution is. Like, I think there's way more than I've thought about in the UK because it's so under the radar. Like, I've been watching like the Met Policing London, and there's loads of prostitution that they break up there. And she was saying that when she was in Exeter, a couple of girls, her friends at uni, was like this guy would pay them 500 quid to go round to his house and kick him in the balls. How odd is that? Literally, and they obviously they felt safe enough to go and do that. To go around some guy's house and kick him in the balls for 500 quid cash. How weird! I was like, what the fuck? That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
What is going on with the wind, mate? It's bad. I can't hear you.
you can't hear me. Oh, I can hear you, and it's coming through okay. I'm just.
I can now. I can now.
Yeah, I'm just sat outside. Well, I wasn't actually talking, so maybe that was why. But yeah, that is bizarre. But it's the dominatrix stuff. You get these like fat 50-year-old businessmen. They have a wife and they're just bored and miserable, and then they just want some young woman to do just crazy things to them. But I don't think.
Mate, it's so bizarre.
I know girls like pain quite a lot. Some girls doing sex, but with guys, I mean that's not even sex either. And that must hurt so. How hard were they kicking him? Were they going for like a 40 meter kick for the post? Is that the right phrase in rugby? Like, or was it more just like a little soft pass, a little punt?
I literally, it's just the weirdest situation. I didn't even ask that question. Like, I was too stunned that actually that was a thing. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I think there's actually a lot of that kind of stuff going on. Like, I think there's more, like, because prostitution is like such an old thing. Like in Victorian times, like it was legal. You know,
it's the oldest job in the world, apparently.
Apparently, it is, isn't it? Sex for money. So the sex for favours. It's I don't know. Like I was watching up the Netflix in London. They arrested a guy who basically owned up so many brothels in London, all with Romanian girls in them. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the sad reality is, have you ever watched the Liam Neeson film when he goes around and shoots everyone in the face? Actually, that's all his films.
Taken is such a Taken is such a good film.
Is it Taken 2? Which is the Taken when they take his daughter and then she gets sex trafficked?
That's the first one. That's the best one.
That's the first one. Yeah. I mean, that's so dark. And watching that, thinking of that to any of your family or friends or girls you know. Yeah, the reality is, I just Googled it, right? And they reckon Home Office estimates there are up to 4,000 victims of trafficking for sexual exploitation in the UK at any one time. I'm guessing that's like per year, but oh shit. The number of possible victims.
4,000 basically means active prostitutes that have been trafficked.
The number of possible victims in the UK jumped to 10,600 in 2020. And up from 1,100 in 2012, the Council of Europe's group of experts on action against human trafficking said on Wednesday. This is October the 20th, 2021, so a couple of months ago. So basically, there's 10,000-ish like girls getting human trafficked for prostitution in the UK, and a lot of them's like Eastern European girls as well. You know, like there are Eastern European brothels and stuff. But it is savage how. I think I watched a documentary on it once, and they're saying a lot of the ways that they do this is obviously people want to come from, like, if you're from like a real economically deprived country and you want to earn more money to send back to that country, a lot of these girls will sign up to like someone smuggling them into the UK. But and then once they smuggle, they'll say, oh, you know, we had to get a new boat, or, you know, it costs more. And they make up a reason why it costs more. And then, so they put these girls in debt, like £10,000 worth of debt or something, say something happened. And then they say, oh, but you'll have to work for me as a prostitute for like a few months now until you pay it off. And then it's effectively a way of like tricking them and then enslaving them. So like sometimes you'll get houses when there's like, you know, 10 or 12 people living in a small 4-bedroom house, and they're all just trafficked people, and it is really sad, and it goes on. I don't know, you never really hear
that's what happened. That's what they broke into. This Scottish guy literally is a big property owner across London, and he owns like B&Bs and houses, and they broke into one of his houses that was a 4-bedroom house. Okay, and the house had been literally divided into 20 little rooms, little bedrooms, all with like Romanian girls living in there. And then they cracked into his bedroom, and then they found £100,000 in cash in his bedroom, in one of his houses. How crazy is that?
100 grand.
Yeah,
that is mental. These poor girls would have seen none of that money as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. Is like even that under these girls' noses in the same building that they're working, all of their cash is being stored, and it's not theirs for one person. How crazy is that?
It's
And they
disgusting.
got him. They got him, and they put him in. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to benefit from prostitution.
How long was
So,
his sentence, or have they not said?
I think it's 10 years. 10 or 13. Like he'll be out, but yeah,
Yeah.
still a long time.
I mean, the reality of the justice system is that if you get 10 or 13 years, you're going to be out in like 7.
Yeah, this is the thing. So like, this is the thing. So it's like, the minimum sentence is like 18 years. Oh shit, I'm up for 18 years, and then actually you get given 10, and then you're out after 7. It's just like, well, actually we just let people off pretty easily, like about on what we say.
Absolutely. It's sad, but I just find it weird how no one talks about stuff like this. You never hear, oh, sex trafficking, 10,000 victims getting sex trafficked to the UK in the news, do you? It's like, look at these immigrants trying to cross the channel. It's like, these are just people, you
that's
fucks.
true.
Yeah, it's like, these are just people. And from my experience, doing like quite a few sort of, how bad is the wind sounding from my side?
It's fine now. It was bad at points.
Okay, but it's like you find these people. When I did these like warehouse jobs and stuff, and there'd be like 10-hour shifts at night, moving these heavy pallets and towing heavy things of food around everywhere. The managers are shouting at you, and it's always these like Polish immigrant like woman or like this that just work there, and they just work incredibly hard. They're like incredibly hard workers. Yet they have so many of these like sort of lower end jobs, and they're always the hardest workers. Like so many of those jobs I've done, when like all the English people, they do it for a couple of weeks and they quit because they just can't cut it. Yet so many of these immigrants do these jobs, yet that never really gets talked about. And then you get these certain poor people are like, oh fuck the immigrants coming and taking our jobs. It's like the immigrants aren't the reason you're poor, mate. The reason you're poor is just because like our economy is just heavily weighted towards people with higher education.
That's true. That is true.
I feel like it's such a scapegoat.
As most economies.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a.
No. That's the thing. Like even with low-paid jobs, if you've got decent English language skills, you could afford not to work that hard because I've done quite a few shitty jobs now, and I've realised that if you're clever, you still won't be getting paid much, but you don't have to work very hard. There are lots of jobs where you don't have to work hard.
I always feel
like if you have shitty English language skills, then you're gonna have to you're gonna probably be doing something fairly physical. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's sad, but I think it's just a sad life. Some of these people probably came to the UK thinking, oh, it's such a rich country, I'll get a super well-paying job. But our social mobility, which is like the ability to retrain and like sort of change job status and improve yourself, it's got like one of the worst ratings in Europe. So that means like in between jobs, training and improving is actually terrible. But I researched like a couple of years ago, and the government didn't even like use all their funding for it.
Really?
Yeah, mate, it blew my mind. It low-key blew my mind. As did this article about these three firms, the Vanguard, BlackRock and State Street. How weird was that article?
Yeah, that scared me, man. That was scary.
They think by 2028, the Financial Post said that these three companies could own $20 trillion between them.
Wow.
That's and between these three companies, they own 90. They're the majority shareholders in 90% of the S&P 500 in America, like all the stocks.
No, that shouldn't be allowed. There should be laws against like that much money being in so.
They are so powerful. Like, do you know how much worth of assets BlackRock manages?
No.
Unbelievable. BlackRock is worth 9.5 trillion.
That's crazy.
Trillion. 9.5 trillion. If it were a country, it'd be the third biggest country in the world. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? That's interesting and kind of scary at the same time, isn't it? It's yeah, I don't know. Have you seen anything else cool on those Met policing shows recently?
I didn't watch any last night. I had a cheeky. It was nice, man. The day was nice. We went like for drinks and a pizza, and we came back to mine, and then like we. But no, I haven't watched anything good. What else have I watched on it? Mainly the prostitution stuff interested me because it's way more widespread than I thought, and that made me feel a bit silly.
Yeah, it's everywhere. But why wouldn't they want to legalise it? Legalise brothels so these girls can be protected. Like, surely it's better for them to be like, if there's a bad customer or something, they're not going to call.
And it's the same with drugs as well. Like legalization would actually just like solve so many problems with prostitution, and because fundamentally, if it's not hurting anyone and the woman wants to do it and she wants to earn the money, then I don't really see a fucking problem. I don't really think it's anyone else's business.
No.
If there's two consenting parties, then like I don't give a fuck, mate, if money exchanges hands. But you know, we have to work with the current laws we have, and it's the same with drug laws as well. Like the thing is, like this is the thing is like I disagree with like arresting some random weed dealer, but the truth is that like especially in London, they have the gang violence is really serious. You know, like if you're a weed dealer and then you fucking stab someone, I'm sorry, but you should go to jail. Like that's, we can't have that sort of stuff going on. All of the phone snatching as well I found really interesting. Like all these like 15, 16-year-olds on mopeds stealing like 15, 20 phones.
Yeah.
But then it's so dangerous because the police can't really chase them.
Well, have you seen they had the tactic where they could sort of ram them a little bit, and there's a few videos of the police like ramming them off their mopeds, because I remember this kid in this village I used to live in always used to ride his dirt bike on the roads, even though it didn't have a license or anything. And I was like, you're not worried about the police? And he always said to me, nah, if the police come, you just take your helmet off and put it around your arm and then just pin it, and they're not allowed to chase you.
Well, that's exactly right. They're not. Exactly. If they take off, he's got it exactly right. If you take off if you're not wearing a helmet, police can't chase you. Because, I mean, this what happened is like a kid who was being chased by the police on a moped, and they can't, the officers couldn't even explain like why they just said he looked suspicious, but he didn't even have any drugs or stolen phones on him. He crashed and died. And Jesus. Like that, there was a big thing. He was only 18 years old and white, so people actually cared.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting to see what goes on in that sort of world.
The thing is, though, it's like the inquiry will be, were the police acting illegally? Were they acting within their powers? Were they being rational? The inquiry's never what drove the kid to feel the need to start, robbing people on mopeds, or even though he didn't, but you know what I mean? They never want to look at the root cause.
It was interesting. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And like, so they decided the police weren't going to face criminal charges for it, and then they were still investigating whether they were going to face misconduct charges. But like, there was another thing happening where they were arresting these two officers were arresting like these phone stealing kids, and then like the family of the kid, they're like kind of white trash family, would like around, and they literally like came out and started like trying to get these kids off and not arrested. And I just thought, you know what, like they're stealing people's phones, they're putting the public in danger, and then I don't know, they just came across as dickheads really. Like you can't stop, they had no idea who this kid was or what he'd done, and they still were just like, oh, you leave him alone. I don't know. It was interesting. That was kind of an interesting segment. Also, just like all of these, like in London, obviously there's loads of riots and just like mass things that happen. Like if there's like a fat gathering in a park, loads of people show up and there'll just be a big mob mentality. So another thing that there's this one where there's just a big mob in like Hyde Park with like lots and lots of young people. And one riot of police gets like bottled, and then another one gets stabbed in the back of the head.
Oh, when was this?
Yeah, and that was a couple years ago. That was a couple years ago in Hyde Park, shit. And and then the detectives were investigating because two kids got stabbed as well, and one of them died.
Oh my god.
So like I was thinking about that because like in the first 2 years, if I do this, you get put in all of the things. That means I will probably have to hang around with riot police as well when people are rioting. There's a reasonably high chance
you'll be in the mix, bro.
Yeah, there's a reasonably high chance that you're going to get injured, and like and it was interesting to see the tactics that they used to disperse mobs and shit like that.
Mm.
And that was interesting. But then it was cool to see how the detectives work at gathering evidence.
Is it like Luther?
This guy. Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, basically they use CCTV to find the guy and get an ID on him. Then they raid his house, arrest him, find his bag with a fuck-off machete in it, test for blood samples, and then they actually got him for everything. So that was quite cool.
I mean, the thing that annoys me is if you see how good the latest iPhone cameras are, and then the news will be like, have you seen this man? And there'll be some CCTV of this blurred figure.
It's dog shit. Yeah, CCTV is the worst footage.
Really?
Literally. But that's mainly so they can store it all, because if they were the amount of gigabyte it would take if it was an HD, I think that's the main issue, is actually storing the content.
Yeah, I never thought of that. No, it could well be. But like back to the crime in London. Out of the 300 youth centres that were across London, 130 of them have closed in the last 10 years. And people wonder why the crime's gone through the roof.
Yeah, that's not good at all. You've got to provide alternatives.
Over a third of all these youth clubs in London have closed. So if it's a single parent and she's working all the time, and you've got these kids and you're growing up on a rough estate, it gives a lot of them a place to go. Did you ever have a local youth club where you were or
not? No, not really. I've had quite a decent upbringing, so I didn't really need to attend a youth club.
Yeah, we used to go to a little youth club. It was alright, played a bit of table tennis and that, but it's we didn't need it though, because where we live and stuff, but some kids really need it.
Yeah, they do, for sure. It's I think sports are a really good thing as well, I just tell kids to get into sports, because that's just the best outlet for everything.
It teaches you how to lose, it teaches you that life is just competitive, it teaches you a lot actually.
Yeah, and it's just just doing exercise. This is the thing, I was so frustrated yesterday because I've been doing such intense gymming with Charlie. All day I was fucking frustrated and pissed off, and I just had to go for a walk. And just even a little walk, just a little bit of exercise made me feel a lot better.
It's crucial, really. It's trying to explain to people that don't exercise the benefits of it could be hard. Did you see did I send you that article from the Times? The army recruits its first robotic dogs of war.
No, you did not.
Wait, check your WhatsApp. I'm gonna just ping it to you now. It's just the headline, but look. Is this not the exact same dog that was in the Black Mirror episode when they're in South Wales, the black and white Black Mirror episode?
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? No way.
Yeah, it's the Boston Dynamics dogs, and the army have started using them. I mean, it's only a matter of time until they stick guns on them.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's not going to end well, is it?
Yeah, they probably already have. Which is mini tanks.
Yeah, apparently because Elon Musk lives in Texas now. He lives in, where does Rogan live? It's one of those cities in Texas. It's not Dallas. Austin.
Yeah, Rogan lives in Texas.
Austin, Texas, yeah. Elon Musk lives there as well, and because he loves comedy, he went down to watch Rogan and some other people at this big comedy club in Texas, and Elon had one of these robotic dogs with him that just walks alongside him.
No way, that's jokes. That's so odd.
Some YouTubers have them as well. They cost $80,000.
Not too bad.
That's pretty badass. Not too bad. You getting one soon, are you?
Yeah, just got a couple of other things to buy first, and then that's on the list.
I tell you what, we saw me and Akil last night. We watched the London fireworks display on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And mate, it's worth watching because the drones, they use these drones display. And have you seen the drones when there's a shoal, a flock, not a shoal, a shoal's for fish, a flock's more for birds, a flock of drones, and there's 80 or 50 or 80 drones, and they're all in the sky, but they can make formations.
That's crazy.
But the formations they made like a planet rotating with all the different countries, but they just lit up as the countries So you saw like these green patterns in the sky, but in like a 3D spherical shape of a planet moving around. But mate, these drones looked insane. They just like the fireworks were impressive, but these drones were something else. And
Wow,
like
to the next level.
yeah, I think the US military are looking into like using these drones in like these flocks of drones as well. Because if you have like 100 drones like that could all move in formation and all change formation and are super agile, like that could all shoot at you, compared to like a couple guys with AK-47s, think how fucked they are.
Yeah, so true,
Mate,
so true. But then, like, what would even be I suppose you could, yeah, I suppose anti-terror is probably like, probably a useful thing of that. But like, I mean, history and even recent times have just showed us that you can't really go into a country and put someone in power that people don't want in power. Like, that's just not an effective strategy.
no, for sure. But these robots scare the shit out of me. Like, it's just when artificial intelligence is going to get integrated into them, it is literally going to be like iRobot. I think. I really do think that will happen at some point.
You reckon? Jesus, iRobot's great.
And iRobot it's an underrated movie. I loved iRobot. And Will Smith is well old now, so when that happens, he's going to be too old to save the world. And what you think? You think Jaden? You think Jaden's going to be able to do it?
Apparently, Will Smith's wife's cheated on him, or vice versa.
Well, they both came out saying that they have this like open relationship.
Oh wow! There you go.
And in an interview, they're like, "Oh, what's the secret to success?" And then, what's his wife's name? She was like, "Yeah, we have quite an open thing." Is it Jada or is that the daughter?
I don't know. It sounds like they all begin with J, don't they?
It might be Jada Smith, but you know, Will Smith's wife. She used to date Tupac. Hello.
Say again?
Will Smith's wife.
Hello?
She used to date Tupac Shakur, the rapper.
No way, that's crazy.
Yeah,
no way.
Will Smith was on the Breakfast Club and he was talking about it, saying how, you know, it got kind of awkward because he wanted her, and like she was with Pac at the time, and something, and they were in the same room one time, and it's kind of awkward like that. You know who else Tupac dated?
Who?
Madonna.
You're a man? No way, that's funny.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg told this story on the Howard Stern show about how he was in London and he didn't have any connect for the weed, so he called up Pac because he knew Tupac was in London and asked him to sort some weed. Apparently Tupac just rocks up in this like blacked out Mercedes with like a huge bag of weed, just with Madonna in the passenger seat. And Snoop Dogg was like, you could tell by the way she was looking at him that Pac was giving her the good dick. And do you know what's mad? How it kind of shows how old Madonna is. But Idris Elba was dating Madonna for a while as well.
Oh wait, sorry, there's a package. Oh, sorry mate, a little bit late.
What package did you get?
No, it's for me, yeah. Tom Hawks.
Yeah.
You're feeling a bit more relaxed about your work, aren't you?
Yeah, no, it should be good. Alright man, let's wrap this up. See you later.
In a bit, bro. See you soon. Have a good day.
See you.